Hey everybody, this is Sean and I am the HiFi Jedi. This is a very special episode for me today. I've been really working hard on my music slash listening room slash retro room. Basically started on this back on May the 4th. And it's been a project that's kind of changed courses a couple of different times. But it's a pretty cool room, and I've spent a lot of time in there, and I just wanted to share with you what I got set up and let you guys check it out. So let's go see what we got. So that's upstairs that goes to my house. This is down in the basement. Concrete walls all the way around except for the garage, so wouldn't be a music room without a Jake and Elwood Blues Brothers show bill on Lake Wassapumani. Got this cool Kiss door switch that my buddy Kerry got for me up at Santa Caligon Days in Independence. And this was a birthday present from a good friend of mine I haven't seen in ages. And my music room. And who had one of these little bad boys when they were a kid, man? I think this probably is where my first love for record players started, was with this little thing. And moving over, I got some concert tickets that I've collected since, probably the 90s. My earlier years, I was too busy smoking dope and trying to put gas in my tank and food in my belly. So we got some Rush Presto, got some Screaming Jay Hawkins, a couple of Grateful Deads, Steve Miller, Pearl Jam, and of course the very last AC/DC concert of all time right there that was here in Kansas City. Brenda got me that little dude, it's pretty sweet, and she gave me this sweet Royal Scentsy to keep it smelling good down here. Now this is the very first, keeping it retro guys is what I'm doing here. So this was the very first Lego set that I ever built when I was a little kid. So I figured I had to have one, had to have it down here in this room. And got my sunglass collection, got my vintage Porsche designs. Those were my Grandpa Sharps, Oakleys. Ooh, Amber Visions. I actually still have my Amber Visions. Those are some Nikons, Chiefs Oakleys, and my Gargoyles. Who didn't have a good set of Gargoyles when they were growing up? So anyway, that's that. And I started this room out with putting all these records and stuff on the walls here. But everything kind of got inspired by this record right here. The Shaft record was one of the first ones that I really listened to over and over and over again. And Saturday Night Fever was another one. And of course, Smokey and the Bandit soundtrack, probably listened to that umpteen thousand times. And my all-time favorite TV show growing up as a kid, The $6 Million Man. And this room is very Star Wars inspired, as you will see, but Star Wars by Miko, man. Bringing Star Wars into the disco era. Pretty sweet. And Break In. Man, I love that movie, and I love that record. I watched that 5,674 times, and it taught me how to break dance. And if you don't believe me, I'll show you sometime, or you can get a hold of my peeps in Wichita or Independence, and they'll let you know that this boy can cut a little rug. And the Blues Brothers, great movie, great soundtrack. I love this thing. I've listened to it many, many, many times. And of course, one of my favorite all-time records that I was not supposed to listen to as a kid, but my dad had it in his collection. So I broke it out, and we checked it out all the time. And you can't really have a Cheech and Chong memoriam or honorarium, if you will, without having some good old smoking glass. So this one here, this first one, actually, if you look at it, was autographed by Tommy Chong, and it's an actual Chong glass. Now there is a long story that goes with how we got that. It actually belongs to my son, and I'll do a video on that in the future to tell you, because it's a great, great story. And just finishing up with some stuff. So I've got I got a turntable here that is always running when I turn on my room, and it's got my holographic TIE Fighter record spinning at all times, so it's more of a display than anything else. And I got my On the Air, and this is my action figure collector's case that I actually have head shells and cartridges in that. And then of course the starting of my cassette collection, I got a bunch more. I've actually got a buddy of mine, Kevin, who's building a nice cabinet for me. And then that brings us back down into my record collection. I got my cool little dividers that I made myself. Got the old Alpha Bravo Charlie Echo in honor of the military folk in my life. And got some over here. So I've got roughly about 600 albums right now, and it's all good stuff. There's not a lot of filler here. I got this set up. This is where like a lot of my new stuff that I've just bought come in. Commodores, 2 Live Crew, got a Steve Martin there. Now I'll put stuff here and I will listen to it to see if it's even worthy of going into the collection, and then if it is, of course, I'll put it in master sleeves and everything, set it over in this rack, and then I'll catalog it as we go. And then the workhorse, as far as video graphics, all that stuff, is my Bad Machine right here, the Emperor. And I built this thing. This has got a 24 core processor in it, and just massive amounts of computing power. And I guess you could commute with it, and I do at times, especially with the Cheech and Chong honorarium. But anyway, I got that, and then my Star Wars clock that is actually a laser cut record. How cool is that? To go along with the deal. And I got my good microphone and my good camera and my light, so I can do my podcast type stuff, my Zoom calls and whatever. And now we're going to get down to the meat of it all right here. I want to introduce you to Darth Vader. So this is my setup, guys. This is my dream stereo that I have been putting together for a long time. I'm not going to go into great detail about what all this is, because I'm going to do reviews on all this stuff. This got the old Darth Vader head here. This is the back of the original Star Wars soundtrack. So starting off at the top, we have my Project X2 with the Sumiko Moonstone cartridge. This thing is dynamite. Got the acrylic platter on it. It's the best turntable I've ever owned, and the best sounding turntable I've ever had. Got my Arcam SA20. This is actually a Type G, which is really good. At low volumes, it's a true Type A, and then at higher volumes, it's an AB. But this thing has an amazing phono pre-stage, and the DAC on this is just incredible. Moving on to my Audiolab 6000 CDT. So this is a CD transport. It's not an actual CD player. It doesn't have its own DAC built into it. So I'm running it through the DAC in the Arcam so that it doesn't have any extra interference or whatnot. and thanks to the recommendations of Randy the Cheap Audio Man. Hey Randy, I got the Weem Mini Streamer, and I absolutely love that. And this is my power conditioner here. So this thing, it's kind of a surge protector, but what it also does is it cleans all the signals out so that there's absolutely no interference going through to affect the sound in my system. And then this, of course, is the Nakamichi RX202 that you saw me rebuild in my video. You know, the one with the sweet little flippity-doo auto reverse. And then that brings me to my speakers, which is the Focal 806 Chorus. These things, for their size, are absolutely amazing. The high end, the sound stage, the depth, the bite of these little speakers is absolutely incredible. The low end on them is okay, but I went ahead and paired them with a Phase Technologies FL12, a 12-inch subwoofer with a 12-inch passive radiator, and tuned. This thing is so on spot and sounds amazing. Over here I've got my Project record cleaning machine, because I listen to way too many records and I don't have that much time to clean them, but I'm not putting, you know, dirty records on that player. That's my subwoofer down here for my computer, actually. And so we move on around. We've got some more Star Wars stuff hanging on the wall. That is the, let's see, that is the Force Awakens soundtrack on the inside. Of course, the original Star Wars poster. And then, like to introduce you to Luke and Leia. My guitars. Now, I am not a maestro by any means, but with winter coming up, I'm planning on spending some time jamming on these bad boys. And got me just a nice little Fender practice amp. Got my Oculus, because I got plenty of room down here to game it up with that while I'm listening to some music. And this is kind of a record collection thing that I bought. It's a Elvis Costello this year model cutout from the 80s, late 80s, and it went really well because he's got the Hasselblad on the tripod. And we've got, you know, some of the camera stuff. This Canon is my grandfather's. That's one of the first Browning box cameras I ever shot. A lot of this stuff down here is just film and digital camera. That's the first digital camera I ever saw or shot. And believe me, that thing opened a lot of doors for me, man. Nobody'd ever seen digital before. And that little camera got me in a lot of cool places. My cool Nikon N90. I have shot so much with that. I love that camera. It's really good. Little Konica, little Minolta. Pretty cool. So in this space, I've tried to utilize a lot of musical stuff. So I've got like cassettes on the wall. I got CDs all up on the wall. Got my little Eddie Van Halen Franken guitar right there. And of course the Doors, one of my all-time favorite bands. Jim Morrison was just a genius, and spent a lot of time partying down, listening to their music. I got some of my CD stuff here. I got my buddy Kevin, yet again, going to build me a custom CD cabinet to go in this space right here, so that'll get done later on, and I'll bring that back in. What retro room would be complete without a lava lamp? Had to have that. Now this poster here was a gift for this room from my brother Kevin. This is the original MTV poster. Back in the 80s, Nobody even knew what it was. This was the original one. He kept it all this time. It was really, really good. Got my heater to keep me warm, and my Fix It I Will poster that I made. There's my Bad Mo Photog logo. So I've got this set up. This has just got like pictures that I've shot of like my motorcycle and some of my cars and models and different places I've traveled. Just some of my better work that I've shot. Like there's a really cool picture of my Ace Frehley Kiss Camaro 35th anniversary LS1 supercharged 500 horsepower beast. Got this cool little metal print. It was a newspaper article. My dad used to sell Canon cameras for the factory, and this was an event at Gateway Sporting Goods here in Kansas City. I got all my gear here, man. My lights, my camera bags, all that stuff that I need down here, easily accessible. And oh, and I wanted to show you too, so I got a nice full-size arcade stick and hooked up on this. Now I've got all kinds of regular games, but I've got a full-blown arcade down here, man. So if you want to retro out, play like some Pac-Man, some Galaga, some Bubble Bobble, some Centipede, some Dig Dug, some Commando, the list goes on and on. But anyway, so now I want to kind of take a break here, and we're gonna get in my listening chair and show you the view from my perfect spot. And sitting here at my table, I got a couple of retro games. I got the old Mattel football and a baseball game. I got some other ones. I got some digital derby and some other stuff. I just kind of break out a couple at a time. But I got all my remotes here. And a lot of these remotes are all for like lighting. So like this one here is for my Star Wars clock that actually lights up in different colors. Got LEDs in the Star Wars clock. Then I can also go in to every single light in the house and change it to whatever color I want. So I got mood lighting of all sorts and kinds kicking back here. I've also got some LEDs that are up around the edges here on this. And that's pretty much it, man. It's a really great place for me to chill out. Now I'm going to be doing some more in-depth videos and some reviews of my equipment and start going into some of the things that I do with my sorting and processing and cleaning of my records to share with you. But I wanted to leave you with this. This is probably the coolest part of my room is my dun 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 my Death Star battle scene mural for my ceiling. How cool is that, man? I got TIE fighters and X-Wings and a blowed up Death Star just tearing stuff up all over the place. So pretty cool deal. And you can see all the CDs that I've got all along the top, everywhere. I've actually put a lot of music into this room, but it's okay. It's all stuff that I've listened to death, or I just bought it for decoration. Well, everybody, I want to thank you for joining me for this tour of this room that I have put so much love and thought and time and, oh yes, money into this room. Brenda could tell you, but she'll have to kill me first. Anyway, I've had a lot of fun with this. I hope you guys thought it was pretty cool and maybe inspire you to do something for yourself, man. You know, a lot of this is all just bits and pieces of my life that remind me of the best days and the best times that I've had. And being in here all together, it's kind of an ultimate happy place. And I hope you really enjoyed it. Until next time, I am Sean, the HiFi Jedi, So cue it, drop it, and crank it. Peace out.